Hey everybody, Aquino here. Please excuse the fact that there's a fan in the background. It is very, very humid in Voorhees, New Jersey at this moment. So, yeah, just get used to the fact that I'm having a fan in this video. But anyway, today I would hopefully like to start a new series of videos I'd like to call How to Fix an Effed Up Movie. And our first subject, Inspector Gadget. Now, for those of you who have never heard of it, Inspector Gadget was originally an 80s cartoon where it's basically a half-human, half-robot detective, solving crimes with the help of his niece, Penny, and his dog, Brain. And all three of them would want to take down the evil Dr. Claw, who never shows his face because all we see is his, metal hand. Hence his name, Dr. Claw. Now, they made a movie version of that cartoon in 1999. And by God, was it awful. Here are some reasons as to why that movie is awful. Reason number 1. Miscasting. Honestly, who thought it was a good idea to cast Matthew Broderick as Inspector Gadget and Rupert Everett as Dr. Claw? For example, look at this next scene when Broderick finds out that he became Inspector Gadget.
You've just come out of a very long recovery. You are now a sophisticated network of tissue hardware and software.
No! I gotta get out of here.
What the f***? Yeah, Ian, you got the right idea. Clearly, Matthew Broderick just wasn't the right fit. And that goes double for Rupert Everett as Dr. Claw. In fact, his name wasn't even Dr. Claw in the movie. It was Scorlax or something around. I don't know. But he still is terrible. I mean, look at this scene, which pretty much showcases his horrible performance and also showcases the worst fourth wall joke you'll ever hear.
Oh, how cliche, Inspector.
I think somebody's been watching too many Saturday morning cartoons.
Rupert Everett's Claw is pretty much not Claw at all. In fact, he acts more like one of his minions than the actual Dr. Claw. In fact, I'm pretty sure he was actually not in this movie at all. I mean, in fact, I think this clip from the Nostalgia Critic's review of Inspector Gadget, the movie, pretty much explains it. Well, not exactly explains, but once you watch it, it makes sense.
He seems more like one of Dr. Claw's henchmen than he does the actual mastermind.
I'm ready to binge!
Who is that?
Bring on the brownies!
What are you doing? You're supposed to be disposing of Gadget.
Sit back and relax, darling.
How dare you?
Yeah, the cartoon had the right idea. Which also leads me to reason number 2. It's nothing like what it's based on. This film is very loosely based on the actual cartoon. I mean, it doesn't exactly have the same premise. And, it is very, very not like the cartoon. For example, as you could tell, Dr. Claw never shows his face in the cartoon, and yet shows it in the movie. And it's just ridiculous. It's like, come on, don't do that. It's like if Batman, went out and fight crime, but he didn't wear his mask. It was, Bruce Wayne sans the Batman mask. It's just doesn't make sense. And another thing, the cartoon, as silly as it was at least enjoyable. And this movie was just not enjoyable at all. In fact, the cartoon didn't have constant sound effects every once in a while. And this movie does. It has cartoon sound effects every 10 seconds. It's ridiculous. And now let's find out how to fix this movie. Fix number 1, recast Inspector Gadget. And if they were going to do another movie, here's who I think they should cast. Steve Carell. Why?
The Kaka has returned.
Well, here's a fun fact for you. Don Adams, who voiced Inspector Gadget in the original cartoon, originally starred in the Get Smart television series. Steve Carell played Don Adams' role in the Get Smart movie in 2008. So it makes sense to cast him. Plus, he has enough chops to actually make you, Plus, with an actor like Steve Carell, you could actually, accept the fact that he plays Inspector Gadget. It would make sense, seeing as if he's the same guy that is on The Office. Well, was on The Office, but yeah, I think he would be a much better fit as Inspector Gadget than Ferris Bueller. I mean, my God. I mean, would you imagine the actual Inspector Gadget, like in the cartoon, going like this?
No! I gotta get out of here.
I don't think so. Here's fix number 2. And this is actually my personal favorite. Nolanize it. Now for those of you who don't know what nolanizing is, it's basically just making it more realistic and more believable. In fact, the word nolanizing comes from Chris Nolan, who basically, in a way, nolanized Batman with the first 2 Batman movies that he did, Batman Begins and Dark Knight, where people really liked those movies because they were different than the previous versions of Batman on the big screen. They were darker. They were much more rooted in the comic books. And plus, you could actually believe that Batman could be real, judging by those movies. That's what they all should do with Inspector Gadget. They should do that, but without, making it fun. Without making it, less, for the kids. Because after all, this is based off a cartoon, for crying out loud. Oh, and if they do make another Inspector Gadget movie with Steve Carell, do not insert a crappy product placement like this. So, the power of internet search engines destroys their car? I don't get it. So what do you think? You think my ideas for an Inspector Gadget redo would be better? Did you actually like the original Inspector Gadget movie? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, then feel free to press the like button, add this video to your favorites, and maybe subscribe if you want. So until next time, this is Aquino saying,
My mums!